Hey friend, John McLennan here, and welcome back to the 10th episode of the AC/DC Back in Black series. In this video, you're gonna learn how to play Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution as recorded by AC/DC on guitar. Now, if this is the first video in this series you've seen, you're in luck because I've posted a brand new song lesson for every single song on this album, and we've gone chronologically from the top to now the 10th track. This is song number 10, and in fact, I think it's one of the coolest songs on the entire album. I'm gonna break it down for you step by step, and I'm also gonna leave a link down below for a playlist where you can see all of these song lessons here on YouTube. Real quick, before we jump into the lesson though, if you're new to the channel and you haven't grabbed my fretboard guide, you're gonna wanna grab this first at the first link down below. And this is gonna show you the 5 chords and scales that I use to map out the entire fretboard. And I used to look down at the guitar neck and feel so much more confused until I understood what I put on just this one-page PDF. And I want to give it to you completely for free. All you got to do is go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide, or I made it easy for you. Just click the first link down below. All right, well, with that said, let's get into the lesson. Let's break down how to play Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution as recorded by AC/DC on guitar. Now we're gonna start off with this opening bluesy riff that uses some hybrid picking with the finger picking hand. Here's what it sounds like. This is an awesome riff that starts off on the 3rd and 2nd strings. We're gonna play the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and then the 2nd string just open. And really it looks like part of an E chord here, but we're just gonna use one finger. Then I move that finger up and grab a double stop on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then also on the 2nd string. So now these notes here on the 3rd and 2nd strings, I'm playing with my middle and my ring finger of my finger picking hand. So just kind of clawing at those strings there. Then we're gonna go up to the 4th fret of the 3rd string and the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So that's our climb up there. And that's a million blues riffs right there, like. You hear that kind of stuff in the blues all the time. So we're just walking up. Then we go back to that 2nd fret. Now this kind of looks like an A chord here, right? Like if you had a just one finger rock chord, but we're just grabbing those 2 strings. Now when we come back here, we're gonna claw those 2 strings, but we're also gonna bring in the pick on the A string like this. So it's gonna go. Okay, and we're gonna do 2 of those there on that sort of A shape, so. Then we'll go back up to 4 and 3 there, and notice I'm using my ring finger and my middle finger. I wanna make sure you're copying the fingers that I'm doing here. Then from there, we're gonna have our index finger free, and we're gonna reach down and grab that 3rd fret of the low E and do a little bluesy pull there. Then we jump back to an E chord, like an E power chord on the bass strings, open to 2. And here I claw it, so I play my pick on the 6th string, my middle finger on the 5th string, and then my ring finger on the 4th string, like this. And just get them all to happen at the same time. So far it sounds like this. From there, we're gonna almost play the same thing again, but just have a little variation. We'll start off with the bluesy walk up. Then we'll go back to that A shape twice. Then instead of going back up here like we did the first time, we're gonna go to that 3rd fret, do a little pull there on the low E, and then we're gonna go up to an E bar chord shape. It's really an E power chord, but I grab almost like I'm doing a full E bar there, but I grab that chord and then slide off. Now again, I'm playing that chord the way that I played this E, so I'm just clawing the strings. So that's sort of the second half of the phrase. So if I put them both together slowly, it sounds like this. All right, so that riff goes over and over until we get to the verse. And what we do is we come out of this riff like this. And we let that E chord ring, and then what we do is we come down to the low E power chord and start playing this bluesy figure for the verse. So this is a very common sort of rhythm and blues pattern here. We're going to be using some palm muting with the strum hand. We're going to play open low E and the 2nd fret of the A string and walk up. So you've got 0 and 2 to 0 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, and it's right on the beat. 1, 2, 3 that we're changing. 1, 2, 3. Now the strum hand can kind of keep 8th notes going just lightly underneath that palm muted. Now, we're gonna anticipate the next chord. We're gonna go. So what I did there was play the 3rd fret of the low E, give it a little bend, and then jump to the A power chord just 1 string down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and then repeat. And we just go back and forth there for the verse between E and A. All right, the last part we need to cover is the pre-chorus, and this is where the lyrics sing, talking about the future. Here's what we're gonna play there. 3, 4. Then we're back into that main riff. So here we let the chords ring out a little bit more. We're gonna start on the E power chord, then we're gonna move to a D, but we'll have the A in the bass, so it's like a D over A. And that's just from the 5th string down, open, open, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. From there, we're gonna move up to a B power chord, then back to an E. Now for the B power chord, I'm playing that like this, 2, 4, 4, starting on the A string there. Now these rhythms are syncopated, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. You can kind of anticipate that B by just hitting the bass note first. Then we play E to D5 over A again like this. Then we do this build on an A chord for basically 2 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and then we do the walk up into the main riff. So the pre-chorus all together sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. then we're back into the riff. So as I mentioned, this is definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. From that opening bluesy riff to the power chords, it is so fun to play. I hope you had a great time watching this series with me. As always, thanks for following along, and this is just a great way to get a lot of insight into a particular style or a certain player. There's a lot of records over the years that I've done this on before I was doing lessons on YouTube, and every time I go through a whole album, by the time I get to like the 6th or 7th song, I'm seeing familiar patterns that I noticed in the first couple songs, and so you really start to just wrap your head around some of these players' sort of signature moves. And to help you put this together even more, be sure to grab my ultimate fretboard guide at the first link down below. And this is going to show you the 5 chords and scales to map out the entire fretboard. And a lot of the riffs on this album come out of the pentatonic, or what I call the rock scale, and you're going to see that on this fretboard guide. All you got to do to grab your copy completely for free is go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide, or I made it easy for you, just click that first link down below. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you enjoyed this series. Leave a comment down below and let me know if I should continue the album series and what album I should do next. Thanks for watching, we'll see you soon.